There are hundreds of elements that make Venezuela's architecture particular. Throughout this course, we have learned about 7 of them, including acoustics, color, rhythm, texture, space and scale, and vertical and horizontal circulation. The purpose of this project is to explain how these elements make Venezuelan architecture and urban planning unique. Acoustics. The Teresa Carreño Theater. The cultural complex has 2 main rooms where the geometry and acoustic design can vary and provide a convertible stage, which is also an efficient and comfortable space where you can enjoy the most outstanding shows. These acoustic elements allow adaptation depending on the type of show that is being presented and whether the room is full or not. The way that the 24 parts of the room are arranged helps the diffusion of sound in space. There are a series of sound boxes, an amplification system, a series of clouds or acoustic panels, which adapt to the noise emission of each show. It also has absorbent devices, black wool cloth, that create surfaces of absorbent material. The seats have a system of hives, there are tiny holes, that guarantee the quality of sound even when the room is empty. Finally, it has a system of doors built with absorbent material that prevents leaks from external noise. Color. As we already know, the use of color and light are basic elements in modern architecture, but Venezuela doesn't have modern architecture in numbers. Most of the buildings aren't new. Because of this, the majority of buildings in Caracas don't include a range of colors. Instead of colors, cement and light paint, as well as bricks and stones, are commonly used on the facades of buildings, because it requires low maintenance. Light. The Plaza Cubierta UCB, or Covered Plaza, is an architectural achievement because of the great use of light and shadow. The light penetrates the lattice wall and creates a pattern on the floor. The rest of the light flows in through gaps in between ceilings and invites people to circulate throughout the area. The light is the element that guides the way through the covered plaza. Rhythm. In terms of rhythm, Caracas displays various places where we can clearly see patterns. We have the Hospital Universitario de Caracas, where identical semicircular towers create certain exterior spaces, hence the rhythm throughout its facade. Texture. There are various examples of how texture is used in architecture throughout Caracas. Some of them include the Poliedro, the ranchos, and parts of the Universidad Central de Venezuela. We can see how texture can breathe life into buildings as well as create a unique experience for occupant senses. They express the true quality of materials, shape, and interior space, or simply articulate a pattern. One of the best examples for texture is the ranchos throughout Caracas that stand out mainly because of their material. With their texture, they create a visual limit between 2 parts of the city, and also a feeling of a blanket that is choking other buildings in Caracas. Vertical circulation. Centro Simón Bolívar. With 225 meters and 64 floors, the Twin Towers of Central Park are the tallest skyscrapers in South America and the second highest in Latin America. The Parque Central Towers represent vertical circulation because of its dimensions. The height of the building gives a sense of a vertical space, but the circulation elements such as stairs reinforce the concept. Horizontal circulation. The Expreso Baruta Mall is a perfect example of a horizontal space. The design of horizontal circulation determines the basic shape and character of the entire building. This is reinforced with circulation elements, in this case, ramps, that connect the different parts and levels of the building. The basic shape and character of the entire structure is determined by these horizontal circulation. Space and scale. The scale refers to the way we perceive the size of the design element on the remaining forms. The human scale architecture is based on the dimensions and proportions of the human body. In 3-dimensional spaces, the height has a greater influence than the width and length, because the height of the walls give us the feeling of a shelter and privacy. Some facts that may affect the scale of a space are 1. The shape, color, and type of boundary walls. 2. The shape and placement of openings. And 3. The nature and scale of the elements that are placed. Any building contributes to the creation of 2 spaces, the internal space, completely defined by its architecture, and urban spaces, which limit the interior spaces. Finally, in the Centro Simón Bolívar, we can see how the human scale plays an important role in the feeling that the person gets when entering or admiring the building. Finally, after reviewing these different examples, we can see how all of these elements come together in a city that is very diverse in its architecture, but we can also appreciate how much more room there is to grow.